Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of Rage Quit TV, gonna be casting the Korean Weekly Season 3 Week Number 6 Finals between FXO.Tear and ZeNEX.Life. It is a ZVP on Khaydaria, and if you're wondering, this is a BO5, and the winner does end up getting $200. Both of these players have already qualified for the Grand Prix, which is a $3,500 tournament. Anyways, on Khaydaria, they don't spawn cross positions, which means I don't really like this map because if we look at this third base, it is within screen distance of the opponent's main if you spawn clockwise. So this third base is going to be really hard to defend against any type of Stargate play. Additionally, if you spawn southern of your opponent counterclockwise, you have their third base within screen range of your main, which I guess if this is Terran, they can do a lot of drops into your main very easily. It's kind of like Antigua shipyards, except on Antigua they did force cross spawns, so I'm going to be assuming you're going to need forced cross spawns on this map as well. We do have ZeNEX.Life going to 11/10 supply, so it looked like he did do the extractor trick. There's no other way he can do that. And his ZVZ style, he always does a double extractor trick with a 10 pool. At least against FXO Whale he did, so does have kind of a unique opener in ZVZ. Maybe he does the same thing in ZVP. We'll see if he ends up going for a hatch first or a pool. Generally, you get the pool at 15 supply or the hatch at 15 supply. You can do either or, but it looks like ZeNEX.Life is going to be building that pool. Now, Tear is just going to keep an eye on this larva. He just wants to make sure the larva isn't going to be stacking, because if it ends up stacking, then that means he's going to have to worry about a run by. We have him about 300 minerals, so he will be going Nexus first. So if you see like a bunch of larva in like a 13 or 12 pool mainly, then you know, okay, cannot go Nexus first. Just going to come down here, not exactly sure why. Maybe looking for any drone hiding out here so he knows if a hatch is going to be built. Drone immediately does go down. That will trigger the probe to come down as well and just block this one hatch as long as he can. If he ends up building a pylon, that will allow him to go for a gateway immediately after the forge, because the Lings will have to go and attack the pylon. He can still do that, but on this map, I actually don't know if he can safely go the gateway before cannon, just mainly because, well, I don't know the rush distance on these spawns. I don't know how long it takes. We do have an extractor trick looking like maybe the Overlord popped at the exact time, but it looks like he wanted to do the extractor trick to get this queen out. He was at 17 out of 18 supplies, so extractor trick to get the queen. Very nice job out of ZeNEX.Life. Loving that extractor trick. That's the second one he's done thus far. As you can see, he's lost 12 resources. Every time you do that, you lose 6. And the probe is going to be going over to the watchtower. We do have the gateway before the cannon. So Tear knew, okay, you're not going to be sending any Lings to my base. And we do have a third base at 4 minutes before the second queen even gets produced, so he is going to be delaying the second queen by just a little bit by getting this third base. But is that going to make a difference? I think it's going to make a small difference on the index in the main, but not a big one overall. However, the thing I wanted to talk about is Ling run-bys on Khaydaria can be pretty brutal, because once they get past, I mean, this cannon's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The Lings kind of run. You can probably run with 4 Lings and only lose 1, maybe 2. You wouldn't lose that many Lings running past this if that's not completely walled. And once you get past, your Lings have free range to this natural. They also have free range to this ramp. Generally, the cannon is placed in a spot where it can defend both this ramp and kind of deter things from wanting to go up this ramp, like on Shakura's Plateau. The cannon will deter things from doing a lot of things, but this cannon way down here south of this natural can't do all that much once the Lings end up running by. So if you get a few Lings run by, you can pretty much always interrupt the Protoss mining on a Forge fast expand, which means the Protoss going with this Nexus into Forge, into Gateway, and then into Cannon is a little bit risky, especially then supply capping yourself on this sentry, but that's only a few seconds. We do have both these gases up relatively early. This one has already mined 50 gas. And the Cyber Next Core does finish at the same time. These 2 gases do get started. This is a really early 3rd and 4th gas. So it may be actually not going to be Stargate play. We do see the Robo facility, so I don't know if Tear really knows that he can use Stargate play, like build a Stargate in his base and it's a proxy Stargate into this 3rd base. That would just be so hard to defend. So we'll see exactly what he ends up going. It looks like he may just be doing that Immortal Sentry Stalker push out that's so common. He is getting +1 attack on this one Forge, and I believe, okay, these Lings have run up and seen it, so he knows about that. 2 gateways are also being built by Tier, and what do we have for ZeNEX.Life? He did get his gases already at 2. It looks like those gases were built at the normal time of around 45 supply, but he is going up on a 3rd gas in this layer very quick. Does not get Ling speed, and that is because he wants to get Roach speed first, because if you get Ling speed first and then layer, then Roach speed, Blink Stalkers can actually hit a pretty darn brutal timing. We do have the Queen over at this 3rd base, but doesn't have the energy to do an inject. Does use a Larva instead. Or not a Larva, a Creep Tumor instead. Evo Chamber is being built, so maybe just going to get a Spore Call at this base to be safe against any type of Stargate play. But we do have a Warp Prism coming out and picking up 2 sentries as for the gates number 2 and 3 and 4 do finish. Going to be picking up yet another sentry. Going to be doing a sentry zealot drop over at this 3rd base, and this can be pretty darn strong, especially without Ling speed. He is starting to build Lings, but doesn't have Ling speed. These sentries have plenty of energy for those force fields. Going to be force fields so that Queen cannot get away. Takes that Queen kill, and the Zealots will start turning down this 1 hatch. This sentry's going to go after that. It does go into phase mode, so he can always retreat if he has to. And actually just going to be picking up those sentries and doing a little bit of Warp Prism micro right here with the sentries. When the Lings want to attack the sentries, the Warp Prism just picked it up, forcing the Lings to attack these slow Zealots. A Queen has come down here. We do have Roach speed on the way with +1 missile attacks, and the Zealots, though, just turning down this 1 hatch. Roaches do pop, but the hatch does fall. The Warp Prism is going to pick up and return back on home. All the Broodlings do fall. The Zealot going to try to run away, but no, he cannot against those Roaches and the Queen. We do have a Hydra Den just now starting, and a drone going to come out, most likely going to be, yes, getting that 1 hatch. And going up into Hydra is probably just expecting this Immortal type plan, saying, okay, well, I can't just do Roaches and defend against it. He kind of built that Hydra Den after he saw the Warp Prism, knowing, okay, you got a really early Robo Facility, which generally would mean Colossus, but nowadays it means Immortals, which means you want to get Hydras. We have a 2nd cannon being built over at this main ramp, expecting the Zerg to do some type of attack. Has not built a single Observer yet. And we do have the Zerg player actually getting Fentral Sack, so he is going to be going with Overlord drops right now, and this could be really strong, actually, if he gets a Roach Hydra drop into the main base of the Protoss. The Warp Prism does come back here, warps in a Zealot, but that does get scouted by the Queen and Roaches, and the Zealot not going to do any damage, but does get picked up, does not fall. At the same time, we do have the Protoss player ending up to move out. That +1 armor just about done. Another 50 seconds, a little bit less with Chrono Boost. Is the Forge getting Chrono Boosted though? No, it is not. Does he have the energy? Yes, he does. He has a lot of energy on those Nexus, so this is a mistake not Chrono Boosting this. Could allow this +1 armor timing to hit a little bit earlier, and every second that he's waiting is allowing the Hydras to do a little bit more, as we do have that Groove Spines now fishing and Hydras being built. The Overlord speed being built a little bit late, missed time that. Maybe he saw this push out coming, I saw something other things, and knew he needed to get up units and not upgrades. Hydras and Roaches do come, but a very nice force field out of FXO.Tear, just zoning all of those units back. And he has not really taken any losses in this battle. You can see that loss tab just shows a huge story, but it is 190 supply to 190 supply. Handful of Hydras right here, but those sentries have so many force fields. Getting some nice force fields off. Those Hydras cannot do all that much, and that will be the game. ZeNEX.Life loses that one. FXO.Tear does end up taking... Did he have units around? Nope, this was mainly his army. He just did not have that much. After getting this 3rd base snipe, we had FXO.Tear set up for some type of timing attack. But if he missed this timing, we did have Life going in for kind of an all-in with this Roach Hydra drop. I say all-in because if you're building a lot of Hydras, they have Colossus, you're screwed. I don't care what you have. Hydras, Colossus, you are screwed. Unless it's Herd of Swarm and you're at Hive Tech with Hydra speed. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that game. Kind of hope you enjoyed the analysis. Again, just to point everything out, because I am going to have to talk to the map makers and say, hey, make this 4 spawns. So if you spawn clockwise of your opponent, or close position clockwise, I should say, the 3rd base is within screen of the main base, which is, I guess, good for Overlord scouting, but absolutely horrible if Stargates do end up taking you by surprise, because again, how close is that? Ridiculously close. Then we look in these positions. You have this 3rd base and this main. So Same thing over here. You spawn clockwise. A lot of drop Stargate play that just sucks. But also, you can have your opponent from his third base, like a Terran, comes up, drops you right here. If you want to go put pressure on while the Terran player drops you, you have to run like all the way around here. So drops very good on this map, and that it may be why ZeNEX.Life was doing that, because if he dropped this main and a counterattack came, he can get back almost instantaneously. So does kind of go both ways, but I think it does favor the Protoss more because you can easily stop a Zerg from going on 3 bases. You could try to take this base, but this doesn't have 2 Vespene Geysers and has 2 less mineral patches, which sucks. I guess you could go all the way over here, but this is out in the middle of nowhere. I guess if the Protoss attacks here, you can counterattack him. That's a benefit, but he had 3 cannons, so expecting the counterattack along with a pylon walling that off completely. However, if you do spawn complete cross positions, I love this map. It is just like Antigua Shipyards. You have these 3 bases. You have a little bit different is the third base always has 2 entrances. In Antigua, it has 2 entrances, but 1 has rocks, but the natural has 2. The natural pretty much only has 1 wide open. So in the sense that you can easily defend 3 bases, or relatively easily defend 3 bases. Not as easy as Antigua, but it's similar. And then you have this 4th base. Antigua does not really have that. The 4th base would be that middle base. But on Khaydaria, you do have the 4th base kind of away from your opponent, as long as you spawn cross positions, because if you do spawn, like, I guess, clockwise and counterclockwise, this 3rd base and this 4th base are really close. And then this opponent's 4th base is actually a little bit further away. So that's another imbalance. If they spawn this little odd 4th base, the opponent that spawns, I guess, towards the counterclockwise position would always be able to get and secure this base, while the person that spawned clockwise, I guess he'd have this base. I guess that makes sense. But he'd have to take out rocks. Dustin Browder wouldn't mind. He'd love having that base. But I hope you kind of understand the dilemma there. And also, the cool thing about that 4th base is Terran. Put a few tanks up there. Hope you guys enjoyed the map analysis on Khaydaria. That was pretty much on the fly. I did most of that. I didn't really think about cross positions as I was casting this game. The last time I was like, oh man, those are really close spawns if this is closer spawn. And then, yeah, that's horrible. But cross positions are really good. Really, really good map on cross positions. But close, I really do not like it. So, if you guys agree, disagree, please let me know in the comments. I will be going on to game number 2. Again, Tier did take game